Bhavishya Purana Part 2. Om Shakti Hrim, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Sachit Ekam Brahma Hrim. Donation of alms. In addition to religious rites, vratas, the Bhavishya Purana has a lot to say on the donation of alms, dana, vrata. Wealth spent on donation is never wasted. Material wealth is one of no use after one's death. It is therefore best to give it away during one's lifetime. The proper use of wealth is in the donation of alms. A healthy body and a long life serve no purpose if they are not used in the service of others. Those who do not donate gold, clothes, food and water to brahmanas have curses and misfortune lying in wait for them. They are born sick and go hungry and unclothed in all their births and have to subsist as beggars. Furthermore, a dakshina fee should be paid when alms are donated. For every yajna, sacrifice, dana, donation and vrata religious rite, a dakshina is prescribed and has to be paid immediately. Otherwise, no such ceremony is complete. For performing a yajna, the recommended fee is for 8 gold coins or 7 silver ones. To fee accompanying the gift of a garden is 2 gold coins. That accompanied the gift of well is half a gold coin. Some major forms of donation are as follows. Godana. A healthy cow and calf are donated to a learned and a poor brahmana to ensure that one gets to live in heaven for countless days. Vrishabha dana. An ox Vrishabha is donated so as to cleanse the sins of 7 generations. Mahisha dana. A she-buffalo mahisha which yields milk is donated. This fulfills all worldly desires. Bhumi dana. The donation of land Bhumi eradicates all sins. Halapankti dana. A plough is fashioned out of gold and jewels and 40 models of golden bullocks and attached in a line pankti to the plough hala. This is donated to a brahmana in order to attain a place in heaven for a period of 7 generations. Apakadana. 1,000 utensils are gifted for the attainment of sons, servants and riches. Grihadana. A well-decorated house griha is donated. This enables one to live in Shiva's abode. Anadana. Food Anna is donated to the hungry. This enables one to live in Vishnu's abode. Sthali Dana. A copper or clay plate sthali is laden with food and donated. This leads to an inexhaustible stock of food with the dana. Shaya Dana. The gifting of a bed shaya to a brahmana leads to the attainment of heaven. Prapadana. A prapa is a stand for providing drinking water to travelers. This is set up on a traveler's road and under a shady tree. The stand is filled with the pitchers of water and is left under the care of a brahmana. This form of donation leads to the attainment of heaven. Agnishtika dana. Particularly in the winter, a fire agni is lit in the morning and night so as to warm everyone. This ensures the fulfillment of desire. Dashi dana. A maidservant dashi is given to a brahmana, the dashi having been dressed in rich clothes and bedecked with jewelry. Such a dana is served by apsara singers of heaven in heaven. Vidya dana. This is giving of a book, a golden pen or a silver ink pot to a brahmana and leads to the attainment of heaven. Hiranyagarbha dana. The hungry are fed and a golden image is donated to a brahmana. This is to ensure the passage to heaven. Brahmanda dana. A golden egg anda is prepared and a golden image of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are placed on the egg. The egg is then donated to a Brahmana together with a cord, shoes and umbrella. This erases sin and realizes one's objectives. Kalpavriksha Dana. A golden tree vriksha with a golden fruit is constructed and donated to a Brahmana. This guarantees that one will get to live in the abode of Surya and be served by Apsaras. Saptasagara Dana. Salt, milk, jaggery and sugar are donated to Brahmana so as to erase sin. Dhanya Parvata Dana. Mounts Parvata of green khanya, jaggery, gold and clarified butter are donated to Brahmanas. Tulapurusha Dana. A pair of scales is used for this purpose. The Dana is placed on one side of the scale, two danda and cereals, curd, salt, silver and gold are placed on the other side, until the two sides exactly balance. This determines the amount of alms to be donated. Half of this is given to Brahmanas, 1/4 to the priest who aided in ceremony and 1/4 to the needy. This ensures that the donor gets to live in the abode of the sun god. There is always a discussion of class varna system in Purana, with the society being partitioned into 4 classes: Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyu and Shudras. The class system as described in the Bhavishya Purana is far less rigid than the description in other Puranas. Brahmans are devotees of Brahma, Kshatriyas and are defended from aggression. Vaishyas are those who practice agriculture and trade. And Shudras are those who are not permitted to read the sacred text. Men have organized themselves into 4 classes, depending on their actions, qualities, disposition and origins. Self-control, the pursuit of knowledge and reverence to gods are the natural task of Brahmans. Valor in battle, warfare and martial activities are the work of Kshatriyas. Agriculture, animal husbandry and trade are the appointed work of Vaishyu. People with the lower acumen and stamina are the Shudras. Brahmanas have to study the sacred text, teach, perform sacrifice and pursue others to perform them, donate gifts and accept alms. To allow Brahmanas to obtain food without studying the Vedas and observing fast is an offense. The king should punish villagers who permit such offense in their village. Kshatriyas have to study, protect the people by taking up arms and donate generously. Vaishyas have to study, donate alms and practice agriculture, animal husbandry and trade. Shudras are to primarily serve the other 3 classes. But the Bhavishya Purana emphasizes that birth is by no means the only determinant of class. It cites the examples of sages like Parashara, Shukadeva, Vasishka, Mandapala and others who rose above their lowly regions. But it also states that a Chandala outcast or a Shudra, though he might study the Vedas by fraud or by going out of the country, cannot by the mere study of the Vedas become a Brahmana. It is one's conduct and not the study of the Vedas of samskaras, rituals, that makes a man a Brahmana in the true sense of the term. It is true that the study of the Vedas is a professional duty of Brahmans, but it is character that really marks one of us as a Brahmana. The Vedas cannot save a person who has deviated from the right course of conduct. A Brahmana who has studied the 4 Vedas cannot discharge his duties properly if he has abandoned his professional code of conduct. The Bhavishya Purana goes so far as to say that a Brahmana and a Shudra are distinct only in name. There is no spiritual or external difference between them, so far as religious ceremonies are concerned. Shudra are not debarred from wearing the sacred thread or from praying. Such samskaras are meaningless, and between the Shudra and the Brahmana, no distinction should be made so far as these are concerned. Samskaras and mantras, incantations can purify a man of bad character. It is character that makes a Brahmana. But the Bhavishya Purana forbids certain profession for those Brahmanas who want to remain Brahmanas in true sense of the term. Those Brahmanas who graze cows, goats or sheep, and those who become servant, shopkeepers and blacksmiths no longer remain Brahmanas. They lose their class. Certain kinds of food are also forbidden for Brahmanas. They should not eat or sell meat, garlic and onions, or drink liquor or milk of camels. They should not accept food at the time of a birth or a death. Food habits, together with one profession, distinguish one class from another. One's class is not absolutely immutable and predetermined. A Shudra can become a Brahmana and vice versa. A Kshatriya can become a Vaishya and Vaishya can become a Kshatriya. The special powers that a Brahmana acquires through incantation can be acquired also by a Shudra. A Shudra too can have the power to curse after he has undergone certain austerities. No individual can retain his class if he does not fulfill the duties that have been earmarked for his class. Even if they have undergone all the samskaras, people of evil conduct like chiefs, liars, deceivers, and killers of Brahmanas are certain to go to hell. One with good conduct is the best of Brahmanas, even if does not observe the samskaras. The Bhavishya Purana criticizes the view that Brahmanas are white like the moon, Kshatriya are red like the Kingshuka flower, Vaishya are yellow like the Haritava or piment, and Shudras black like coal. Class is not matter of one complexion. The Bhavishya Purana does in fact question the basis of the class system. Like sons of the same father, like fruits of the same tree, Brahmans, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudras have the same constituent elements. They cannot be differentiated on the basis of any physical quality, like complexion. A horse and a cow can be taught apart from each other, but not so a Brahmana and a Shudra. All this implies that the Bhavishya Purana incorporated some fresh ideas on the subject of class, possibly due to the foreign influence on it. It is thus important in tracing the evolution of the class system in India. The absorption of different races must have reduced the distinction in complexion that had existed in early time, like the age of the Aryan influx into India. Buddhist ideas that class is meaningless concept may also have exerted some influence. The Bhavishya Purana states that the population of Shakadvipa was grouped into four classes: Maga, Magaga, Ganada and Mandaga, or Mandabha. This corresponds to Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishya and Shudras. In Iran, from where the Maga Brahmanas came, there were four layers Pishtra of society: Astravas, priests; Katyastas, warriors; Vastriyas, family chiefs; and Huitis, laborers. There were strictures against a man's as aspiring for a position higher than what society had allotted to him at the time of his birth. But there was also considerable freedom of movement from one class to another. You will find more on Shakadvipa later. A student obtains knowledge after serving his teacher Guru faithfully, just as we obtain water after making the effort of digging a well. After his education has been completed, a student can please his preceptor by giving him land, gold, an umbrella, footwear, clothes, grain or vegetables. This is the dakshina fee, and without this payment being made, the education is incomplete. A guru who knows the true meaning of the Gayatri, a sacred incantation, and devotedly follows the law, is the best of all. A Brahmana who does not fulfill his obligation to teach is not entitled to maintained by the state or by the rest of society. There are 5 different grades of teachers, and these are as follows. Acharya, this is one who teaches the secret knowledge, kalparahasya, of the Vedas. Upadhyaya, this is the one who teaches the Vedas so as to earn a livelihood. Guru, this is a person with whom students reside and form part of the Guru's household. The teacher provides them board and lodging and instructs them in all the rituals. Ridvja, this is one who adopts the performance of sacrifice as a profession. Mahaguru, this is the one who is the supreme amongst all teachers and should be revered by all. His only learning is the recitation of the name of God, but he is well versed in the knowledge of the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, the 18 Puranas, and the cults of Surya, Vishnu, and Shiva. A worker must be paid wages in proportion to the importance of the work that has been performed by him. The smallest unit of payment is a varata. 20 varatas make a kakini, and there are 4 kakinis in a pana. There are thus 80 varatas in a pana. The Bhavishya Purana prescribes the following daily wage rates depending on the nature of the job. Bricklaying 2 panas, digging wells 2 panas, sweeping 1 varata, making object out of copper 4 panas, making object out of bronze 3 panas, weaving cotton clothes 3 panas, weaving woolen clothes 10 kakinis, blacksmith 10 kakinis, hair cutting 10 kakinis, shaving 2 kakinis, hairdressing 4 panas, beauty treatments for women 1 pana, plough making 2 panas, 10 varatas, planting rice 1 pana, planting betel nut 1 pana, making bridge 2 pana, pulling a vichal 1 pana, making stage 1 pana, lying marble floors 1 pana, washing 1 pana. Women should be married early, according to the Bhavishya Purana. A 7-year-old girl is called Gauri. A 10-year-old girl is called Nagnika. A 12-year-old girl is called Kanyaka. And a girl who is older than that is called Rajasvala. It is best to marry off a girl who is a Gauri. The next best opinion is to marry off girls who are Nagnika. Kanyakas are thought best as brides. A Rajasvala bride is the worst. There are 8 forms of marriage as enumerated below. Brahma. In this form of marriage, a bride who is dressed in rich clothes and valuable jewelry is given away in marriage to a learned bridegroom from a noble family, the bridegroom having been specially invited for the purpose. Daiva. A bejeweled wife is given in marriage to a husband of good conduct, the wedding taking place ceremonially in the presence of priest and through a sacrifice. Arsha. The bride's father gives his daughter away to the bridegroom after performing rites that are prescribed and after donating a cow or a bull to the bridegroom. Prajapatya. The bride's father gives his daughter away to the bridegroom while instructing the pair to always remain together in the discharge of their religious duties. Asura. The bride's parents and relatives give the bride away only after receiving some money as a price for the bride. Gandharva. A man and woman fall in love and get married. Rakshasa. A bridegroom abducts a woman and marries her. Pishacha. A bridegroom abducts a woman and marries her, the difference with the Rakshasa form of marriage being that in the case of Pishacha marriage, the abduction is done with the force or deceit, without the consent of the bride. The recommended forms of marriage are, however, Brahma, Daiva, and Arsha. Children from such marriage redeem the ancestors. After marriage, the woman should adjust to others and mold herself accordingly to the wishes of her husband and in-laws. She should regard her husband like a god. The Bhavishya Purana also states that the wife forms half of the husband's body. Therefore, a household where women are not revered is soon destroyed. Conversely, a household where women are happy is blessed by the god. By the basic image is that of woman subservient to her husband. What must a woman do? What are her duties? At the stroke of dawn, she must awaken the servants and assign them their duties for the day. She must supervise the work of the servants. It is also her duty to keep meals ready for her husband and to await his return, in case he goes out of the house. In the kitchen, her duties include the washing of utensils and the making of curd, wiping the floor with fresh mud, and the preparation of tasty dishes. In addition, the woman must go out to supervise the work in the fields. There are some acts that are taboo for a wife. She should not sit alone, laugh in the company of strangers, stand at the gate, look in the direction of the main road, talk loudly, walk ahead of people, laugh excessively or exchange objects with her neighbors. When her husband has gone elsewhere, the wife should not beautify herself or wear ornaments. She is allowed to go out when she must, but must hurry back to the house as soon as the work is done. When she is expecting a baby, a woman must bathe in scented water, avoid loud laughter, and stay away from undesirable people. She must also spare herself anxieties and risk. For example, she must not visit deserted place, walk alone under a tree, or cross a river. The Bhavishya Purana permits divorce if either the husband or the wife is not satisfied, or if there are continuous frictions between them. If a husband desires to divorce a wife who has not borne him any children because she is barren, it is recommended that the husband wait for the 8 years before such a divorce take place. When the divorce is granted because of marital unhappiness, Shridhana of the jewelry and personal property of the woman must be returned to her. In addition, the woman is entitled to an allowance. If there happens to be a co-wife, the younger wife should treat the elder one as a mother and care for her children as well. Whatever she has brought from her own home must first be offered to the elder wife. The elder wife must also accept the younger one as a daughter. The husband's behavior should not be such as to cause jealousy between the two wives. The Bhavishya Purana contains a lot of other interesting material. It describes how different flowers, when offered to different gods, bring different rewards. It describes various kinds of snakes and various kinds of snake bites. The most interesting part of Bhavishya Purana is, however, what it has to say about the future. That is, after all, what this text is best known for. So the word Bhavishya means future. This historical material is to be found in the third parva, the Pratisarga part. This begins with the accession of Manu to the throne and ends with the mention of the arrival of the British in India and the rule of Queen Victoria. The names of the kings of the solar and lunar dynasty are given, but there are also references to the Rajput kings who came much later. The reference to Taimur, Babur, Humayun, Shah Khan, Akbar, Salem, Aurangzeb, Shivaji, Mahadevji, Simhya. There are also English words like Sunday, February and 60. The most important part of this description of the future is catalogue of the dynasty of the Kali era. This material is to be found in other Puranas as well. But the Matsya Purana and the Vayu Purana clearly mention that the Bhavishya Purana is the original authority for all the account that the Puranas give all of the kings of the Kali age. The Purana agrees that the Kali Yuga started on the day on which Krishna died and left for heaven. Time is divided into 4 yugas or eras: Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. Satya Yuga lasts for 4,000 years of gods, Treta Yuga for 3,000, Dvapara Yuga for 2,000, and Kali Yuga for 1,000. But a year for the gods is much longer than a year for humans. For example, 1,000 years for the gods is equivalent to 3 million years for humans. In addition, there are intervening periods between any 2 yugas. The intervening period between Kali Yuga and a new Satya Yuga is 500 years of the gods. That is 11,000 human years. Thus, when 378,000 human years have elapsed since the death of Krishna, there will be new Satya Yuga. Kali Yuga is going to be an evil era. It will bring an invasion of Yavanas from the west. The Yavanas being motivated by religious feeling, ambition and the hope of plunder. The Yavanas are identified with the Greeks. The Yavanas will not be properly anointed kings, but will follow the corrupt customs of a corrupt age. Upstart races, declining as soon as they rise, will succeed each other in ruling the earth. Aryan and Mlechha, those who don't believe in the Vedas and eating meat, races will mingle and mix freely. Women and children will be massacred. Impoverished and unrighteous kings will freely kill each other. Yavanas, Aryas and Mlechhas will prevail in turn and the population will perish. The Bhavishya Purana declares that it will deal with the future that follows the Kurukshetra war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. This is a story of the Mahabharata. Most of these dynasties of the so-called future belonged to the Kali Yuga. The description of royal genealogies forms an integral part of any Purana. It is for this reason that the Bhavishya Purana describes the dynasty of the Kali era. Accounts of the dynasties that reigned in North India in the period following the Kurukshetra war were incorporated in couplets that were composed and set to tune. These couplets were sung by bards and minstrels in the Magadhi and Pali language. The composers of Bhavishya Purana appropriated these couplets, converted them to Sanskrit and altered them to the form of the prophecies uttered by Vyasadeva. More and more material was progressively added. Material written in Kharosthi in North India was absorbed in the text in the 3rd and early parts of the 4th centuries. All this material from the Bhavishya Purana was borrowed for the accounts of the future that are given in Brahmanda Purana, the Vayu Purana, the Vishnu Purana, the Bhagavata Purana, and the Garuda Purana. But the process of absorption and embellishment in the Bhavishya Purana went right down to the time of the British rule in India. So-called prophecies by Vedavyasa were brought boldly down to the 19th century, and the text was updated at the cost of authenticity. The Bhavishya Purana states that the dynasties of Kali era are as follows. Arjuna was the 3rd of the Pandavas, and his son was Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu married Uttara, the daughter of King Virata, and the son was Parikshit. Parikshit's son was King Janmejaya. Janmejaya was very righteous. From Janmejaya was born the valiant Shantanika. And Shantanika's son was the brave Ashwamedha Datta. From Ashwamedha Datta was born a victorious son. This was the righteous Adhi Samakrishna, who now reigns in great fame. Adhi Samakrishna's son will be King Nichakshu. When the city Hastinapura is carried away by the Ganga, Nichakshu will abandon it and go and dwell in the city of Kaushamhi. He will have 8 sons of great might and valor. His eldest son will be Ushna. After Ushna, Chitradha will be the king. After Chitradha will come Shuchidratha. And after Shuchidratha will come Vrishnimat. Shushena will be righteous king who will come after Vrishnimat. Sunitha will be king after Sushena. After Sunitha will come Rucha. After him will come Nichakshush. Nichakshush hair will be Sukhibala. And Sukhibala's son will be King Pariplava. And Pariplava's son will be King Shunaya. His hair Medhivin will be king, and Medhivin's son will be Nripanjaya. Durva will be his son, and Tigma Atman with his son. After Tigma Atman will come Brihadratha. After Brihadratha, Vasudana. After Vasudana, Shantanika. After him will come Udayana. After Udayana will come the warrior king Vanihara. After Vanihara, son will be Dandapani. After Dandapani will come Niramitra. And after Niramitra, Kshemakaka. There will thus be 24 kings born of Purus race. The Paurava race, honored by gods and rishis, sages, from which sprang many Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, will reach its end in the Kali era, with Kshemakaka. This is race that is offspring of Pandu's wise son, the great Arjuna. Next comes the race of the great souled Ikshavaku. Brihadbala's heir was the warrior king Brihadshyaya. His son was Urukshya. After Urukshya came Vatsavyaha. After Vatsavyaha, Prativyoma. His son is Divakara, who now rules in the city of Ayodhya in Madhya Desha. Divakara's successor will be the famous Sahadeva. Sahadeva's heir will be the higher-minded Brihadashva. His successor will be Bhanuradha, and his son will be Pratitashva. Pratitashva's son will be Supratika. His son will be Marudeva, and Marudeva's son will be Sunakshatra. After Sunakshatra will reign the victorious Kinarashva. Under Antarisha will reign Kinarashva's illustrious son. After Antarisha will come Suparna. And after Suparna, Amitrajit. Next come to this Akshavakus, born of Brihadbala's lineage, will bring glory to the family, will be learned and brave warriors. The race will terminate with Sumitra. This is Kshatriya stock that is a descendant from the great Manu. Next come the Barhadrathas of Magadha, who are kings in Sahadeva's lineage in Jarasandha's race. Jarasandha's son was Sahadeva. Sahadeva was slain in the Kurukshetra war, and his heir Samadhi became king in the capital city of Girivraja. Samadhi reigned for 58 years. In this line, Shrutashravas was king for 64 years, and Ayutas ruled for 26 years. His successor Niramitra enjoyed the heirs for 40 years before ascending to heaven. Sukshatra ruled for 56 years and Brihadkarman for 23 years. Senajit, who is now ruling, will rule for 23 years. The tense is again significant. Shrutanjaya, great in strength, large of arms, and great in mind and prowess, will be king for 40 years. Vibhu will obtain the S for 28 years, and Shuchi will be the king for 58 years. King Shema will rule for 28 years, the Vedan Suvrata for 78, and Sunetra for 35 years. Nivriti will thereafter rule for 58 years, Trinetra for 20 years, and Dridhasena for 48 years. Mahinetra will be resplendent as king for 33 years. Sucha will rule for 32 years. King Sunetra will rule for 40 years. King Satyajit will enjoy the S for 83 years. Vishwajit will be king for 25 years. And Ripunjaya will rule for 50 years. These 16 kings will be known in future as the Brihadradhas or Barhadradhas. The kingdom will last for 723 years. There will be 32 more Brihadradhas and they will rule for a full 1000 years. When the Brihadradhas have passed away, Pulika will kill his master and appoint his son Pradyota the king. King Pradyota will subjugate all the neighboring kings and will rule for 23 years. Pavaka will then be the king for 24 years. Vishakshayupa will be king for 50 years. Ajaka for 21 years. Nandivardhana for 20 years. The 5 Pradyota kings will thus rule the S for 138 years. Shishunaga will destroy the Pradyotas and become king. He will make Girivraja his own capital and appoint his son king in Varanasi. Shishunaga will rule for 40 years and his son Kakavarna will rule for 36 years. Kshema Dharman will be the king for the next 20 years. And Kshatrajus for 40 years. Bimbisara will be king for 28 years. This will be the 10 Shishunaga kings. The entire dynasty will rule for 163 years. Many of the dynasties are contemporaries with one another. For the example, the following dynasties were contemporary and ruled for the some length of time: 24 Aikshavakus, 27 Panchavas, 24 kings of Kashi Varanasi, 28 Haihayas, 32 Kalingas, 25 Ashmakas, 36 Kurus, 28 Mithivas, 23 Shurasenas, and 20 Vitahotras. King Mahanandin will have a son from a Shudra wife. This will be Mahapadmananda, and he will exterminate all the Kshatriya kings. All kings thereafter will be of a Shudra origin. Mahapadma will bring the entire S under his rule and will reign for 88 years. He will have 8 sons, of whom Sukalpa will be the eldest. These sons will succeed Mahapadma and rule for 12 years. A Brahmana named Kutirya will uproot the Nandas. After the Nandas have ruled for 100 years, the S will pass to the Mauryas. Kautilya will appoint Chandragupta king over the realm. Chandragupta will be king for 24 years. Bindusara for 25 years and Ashoka for 36 years. Ashoka's son Kunala will reign for 8 years. Kunala's son Banhupalita will rule for 8 years. And Banhupalita's heir Indrapalita will reign for 10 years. Devavarman will be king for 7 years. His son Shatatkhanu for 8 years. And Brihadratha for 7 years. The 9 Mauryas will rule the earth for a total of 137 years. Thereafter the Shungas will take over. Pushyamitra will be the general of King Brihadratha. But he will eliminate his king and establish a new dynasty. Pushyamitra will rule for 36 years. His son Agnimitra will be king for 8 years. Vasujyeshtha for 7 years. Vasumitra for 10 years. Andrakha will then reign for 2 years. Pulindaka will reign for 3 years. And his son Hosha for 3 years. Next, Vajramitra will be the king for 9 years. Bhagavata will be the king for 2 years. And his son Devabhumi for 10 years. The 10 Shunga kings will rule the earth for a combined total of 112 years. From them the earth will pass on the canvas. Vasudeva will be minister of the dissolute king Devabhumi. Vasudeva will overthrow Devabhumi and establish the Kanvanya dynasty. Vasudeva will be king for 9 years, and his son Bhumimitra will rule for 14 years. His son Narayana will reign for 12 years, and his son Susharman will rule for 10 years. These are known as the Kanvanya kings. This is for Kanvanya Brahmanas will rule the earth for 45 years. They will subjugate the neighboring kings and will be righteous. In succession to them, the earth will pass on to the Andhras. The Andhras Simukha and his fellow tribesmen will be servants of the Kanva kings Susharman. But they will divest Susharman of the kingdom and set up their own dynasty. Simukha will be king for 23 years. His younger brother Krishna will next reign for 10 years. His younger brother Sri Shatakarni will reign for 10 years. Then Purnasanga will be king for 14 years. Skandastamhi will be king for 14 years. Shatakarni will reign for 56 years. And his son Lambadara for 18 years. His son Apilaka will reign for 12 years. Megaswati will rule for 18 years. Swati will be king for 18 years. Skandaswati will be king for 7 years. This is 30 Andhra kings will enjoy the earth for 470 years. When the kingdom of the Andhras has come to end, there will be the king belonging to the lineage of the servants. There will be the Sri Parvatya Andhras, 7 in number. There will also be 10 Abhira kings, 7 Garbdabhins, and 18 Shakas. There will be 8 Yavanas, 14 Tusharas, 13 Murundas, and 11 Maunas. The Sri Parvatya Andhras will endure for 52 years. The 10 Abhira kings for 77. The 7 Gardabhins will enjoy the earth for 72 years. The 18 Shakas for 183 years. The 8 Yavanas will enjoy the earth for 87 years. The earth is remembered as having belonged to the Tushras for 7,000 years. The 13 future Murundas, along with a lowly man of Mlechka origin, will enjoy it for 200 years. The 11 Maunas will enjoy it for 103 years. When they are finally overthrown by time, there will be the Kiva kings. After the term of the Kivas is over, King Vinhya Shakti will rule. He will become the king after the earth has known these are the kings for 96 years. The future kings of the kingdom of Vidisha must also be listed. Bhuagin, the son of the Naga king Shesha, will become king. He will conquer the cities of his enemies and will exalt the Naga family. Sadachandra will be the second king in this line. Chandra Amsha will be the third, and the Dhyana Dharman the fourth. After that will come Vangara Ibhutinanda. When the family of the Shungas ends, Shishonandi will reign. His younger brother will be called Nandiyashas. In his line there will be 3 kings. His daughter's son will be called Shishuka and will rule in Purika. Vinhya Shakti's valiant son will be Pravira, and he will rule over the city of Kanchanaka for 70 years. He will conduct many sacrifices, and his 4 sons will also be kings. When the family of the Vinhyas has passed away, there will be 3 Bahlika kings. Supratika and Nabhira will enjoy the earth for 30 years. Shakyamana will be the king of the Mahishis. There will be 13 Pushyamitras and Putamitras. In Mikala, 7 kings will reign for 70 years. In Kashala there will be 9 very powerful and wise kings celebrated as the Medhas. All the kings of Nishadha born in the family of Nala will be valiant and very powerful, and will exist till the termination of the Manu. Amongst the Magaths, the king will be the valiant Vishvash Phani. Overthrowing all Kshatriya kings, he will make kings from classes other than the Kshatriya class: Kaivaratas, Panchakas, Pulindas and Brahmanas. He will establish this person as kings in various countries. Vishvasphani, the magnificent, will be mighty and will be the equal of Vishnu in battle. After gratifying the gods through his great deeds, he will resort to the banks of the holy Ganga and give up his life. After his death, he will live with Indra for many years. 9 Nakah kings will rule in the city of Champavati. 7 Naga kings will rule in the charming city of Mathura. Kings born of the Gupta race will enjoy all the territories along the banks of the Ganga, Prayaga, Saketa and the Magadhas. King born from Manithanya will enjoy the territories of the Nishadas, Yadukas, Shaishitas and Kavatayakas. The Deva Rakshitas will enjoy the Kashavas, Andhras, the Pundras, the Tamra Liptas and the charming city of Champa. Guha will be the king of Kalingas, the Mahishas and the inhabitants of the Mahendra mountains. Shudras and outcasts will be kings in the Shurastras, Avantias, Abhiras, Arbudas and Malavas. Such destitute people will also be kings on the banks of rivers Sindhu, Indus, Chandrabhaja and County, and in the Kashmir realm. All these kings will be lacking in grace, untrustful and not at all righteous. The list also has an important role to play in whatever attempts have been made to date the Kurukshetra war of the Mahabharata. If you have read the story of the Mahabharata, you know that the Kurukshetra war involved 11 Akshaukini battalions on the Kaurava side and 7 Akshaukini on the Pandava side. Each Akshaukini consisted of 20,870 chariots, 20,870 elephants, 60,610 horses, and 1,009,350 infantrymen. If one allows for one chariot per chariot, one driver per elephant, and one rider per horse, this amounts to 2,100,700 men per Akshaukini. For 18 Akshaukini taken together, this requires a contingent of 39,3,600 men altogether. This inconceivable in the period that one is talking about. No one therefore believes that the war really took place as literally described. But at the core there may have been a historical account which got distorted because of exaggerations. It is possible to date this historical incident. Broadly speaking, there are three ways of dating the occurrence of the Kurukshetra war. The first is to use astronomical data on the position of nakshatras mentioned in the Mahabharata. Probably because of later interpolations which were freely introduced, such information tends to be mutually inconsistent and yields such widely divergent dates as 3140 before his birth. A second approach is to date the Kurukshetra war on the basis of the astronomical tradition of a famous astronomic like Arabhebhata, Vrityagarga, and Varahamihira. The Aryabhata tradition is that the Kali Yuga era began in the year 3102 year before his birth. The Kurukshetra war should thus have taken around the year 3138 year before his birth. The Vrityagarga and Varahamihira tradition of calculation place the war in 2449 year before his birth. Scholars, however, argue that both of these astronomical traditions are suspect and of much later origin. The third approach of dating the war is to use the genealogical material that has been given above. From accounts left by the Greek historian Megasthenes, one can date period of Chandragupta Maurya. The genealogical accounts give us the number of kings from the crowning of Parikshit to the time of Chandragupta. If one makes an assumption about the average number of years that a king ruled, one can work backwards and calculate the date of which Parikshit was crowned and the date on which the Kurukshetra war took place. Because of the subjectivity involved in deciding what the average period of reign was, this still yields divergent dates like 1500 year before his birth for the war. But in view of what is known of the Indus Valley civilization and the arrival of the Aryans, a date of around 1000 year before his birth for the Kurukshetra war is regarded by most scholars as acceptable. The sun god Surya manifests himself in 12 different aspects. These are known as the 12 Adityas, and their names are Indra, Khata, Парджанья, Пуша, Твашта, Арьяма, Бхага, Висвасвана, Вишну, Амшу, Varuna, and Mitra. As Indra, the sun god, rules all the gods and is the king. As Thata, the sun god, creates all living beings. As Parjanya, the sun god, resides in the clouds and brings down rain. As Pusha, the sun god, and is existent in all food grains and provides nourishment to all living beings. As Tvashta, the sun god, is present in all trees and herbs. As Aryama, the sun god, is in the wind and supplies the breath of life. As Bhaga, the sun god, in the earth and in the bodies of all living beings. As Vivasvana, the sun god, is in the fire and aids in the cooking of food. As Vishnu, the sun god, destroys the enemies of the gods. As Amshu, the sun god, is in the air and brings delight to all living beings. As Varuna, the sun god, is in the water and is a sustainer of life. As Mitra, the sun god, exists on the banks of the river Chandrabhaga. A person who realizes these 12 aspects of Surya gets to live with the sun god himself. In each of one of the 12 months, one of the 12 forms of Surya is manifested. Vishnu is manifested in the month of Chaitra, Aryama in Vaishakha, Vivasvana in Jyestha, Amshu in Ashada, Parjanya in Shravana, Varuna in Bhadra, Indra in Ashvina, Thata in Kartika, Mitra in Agrahayana, Pusha in Pusha, Bhaga in Magha, and Tvashta in Falguna. These 12 names are thus nothing but names of Surya. In addition to these names, the sun god has 12 other names as well. These are Aditya, Savitar, Surya, Mihira, Arka, Prabhakara, Martanda, Bhaskara, Bhanu, Chitrabhanu, Divakara, and Ravi. In his form of Aryaman, Surya has 300 rays. Vivasvana has 1400 rays, and Amshu 1500. Parjanya, Varuna, and Vishnu have 1400 rays each. Indra has 1200 rays, Thata 1100, Mitra 1500, Pusha 1000, Bhaga 1500, and Tvashta 1000. The sun's chariot is golden and was built by Brahma himself. The name of the chariot is the Anuru. The chariot is drawn by 7 golden horses named Gayatri, Trishtupa, Jagati, Anushtupa, Pankti, Vrihati, and Ushnika. 2 Adityas, 2 sages, rishis, 2 Gandharvas, singers of heaven, 2 Apsaras, dancers of heaven, 2 Nagas, snakes, and 2 Rakshasas, demons, always ride on the chariot of the sun. That is detailed as follows. In the months of Chaitra and Vaishakha, the Adityas are Thata and Aryaman, the sages Puvasya and Puvaha, the Gandharvas Tumburu and Narada, the Apsaras Kritasthali and Punjakasthala, the Nagas Vasuki and Kancha, and the Rakshasas Heti and Praheti. In the months of Jyeshka and Ashada, the Adityas are Mitra and Varuna, the sages Atri and Vasishka, the Gandharvas Haha and Huhu, the Apsaras Minaka and Sahajanya, the Nagas Takshaka and Ananta, and the Rakshasas Purushaya and Buddha. In the months of Shravana and Bhadra, the Adityas are Indra and Vivasvana, the sages Angira and Bhrigu, the Gandharvas Vishwavasu and Ugrasena, the Apsaras Pramavachanti and Anumvachanti, the Nagas Elapatra and Shankhapala, and the Rakshasas Sarpa and Vyaghra. In the months of Ashvina and Kartika, the Adityas are Parjanya and Pusha, the sages Bharadvaja and Gautama, the Gandharvas Chitrasena and Ruchi, and Apsaras Vishvachi and Gritachi, the Nagas Vishruta and Dhanajaya, and the Rakshasas Apa and Vata. In the mouths Agrayana and Pusha, the Adityas are Amsha and Bhaga. The sages Kashyapa and Kratu, and the Gandharvas Chitrangada and Urnaya. The Apsaras Purvachiti and Urvashi. The Nagas Tarkshya and Arishtanemi. And the Rakshasas Avasfurja and Vidyut. In the months of Magha and Falguna, the Adityas Tvashtar and Vishnu, the sages Jamadagni and Vishwamitra, the Gandharvas Kritarashtra and Varcha, the Apsaras Tilatama and Ramha, the Nagas Kadraveya and Kambalashvatara, and the Rakshasas Brahmapreta and Yakshapreta. The S is divided into 7 regions, Dvipa, and the names are Jambudvipa, Pwakshadvipa, Shalmavadvipa, Kushadvipa, Kraunchadvipa, Pushkaradvipa, and Shakadvipa. Bharatavasha is in Jambudvipa. Shakadvipa surrounds the oceans that is known as Dabhisamudra, or the Sea of Pearls. The cities of Shakadvipa are holy, and the inhabitants have long lives. Famines, disease, and old age are unknown in the kingdom. There are 7 snowy white mountains in the region, and these mountains abound in precious stones. Jewels are also to be found in the 7 rivers that flow through the country. The first mountain is known as Meru. This is where the sages and the Gandharvas live. The second mountain, which lands slightly to the east, is named Udaya. The peak of this mountain is golden. Clouds gather here in the great number. The third mountain is known as Mahagiri. It abounds in lakes. It is from these lakes that Indra collects the water that is used for forming clouds. Many are inhabitants who live around Mahagiri. The fourth mountain is Raivataka. There is a nakshatra named Revati. This peak is so named because Revati nakshatra can always be seen from this region. This mountain is known as the heaven of Shakadvipa. The fifth mountain is named Shyama, and it is dark in color. The sixth mountain is Antagiri, and it is silvery in color. The seventh and final mountain is Ambikeya. It is always covered in snow and is very difficult to access. A tree named Shaka grows in the country, and it is from this tree that the region obtains its name. This tree is worshipped by everyone. Shakadvipa abounds in gods and Gandharvas. There are 7 sacred rivers in Shakadvipa. They are so holy that each of them is referred to the Ganga. But they have individual names as well. The first one is referred to as the Shivajala, or the Anutpata. The second is the Kumari, or the Vasavi. The third is the Nanda, or the Parvati. The fourth is the Shivetika, or the Parvati. The fifth is the Ikshu, or the Kratu. The sixth is the Dhenuka, or the Mrita. All of these rivers flow into the ocean. The water from these rivers is so holy that it quenches all thirst. There are 4 classes in Shakadvipa, and the inhabitants are extremely righteous. They do not suffer from hatred, jealousy, or sorrow. As you have already been told, the 4 classes are known as Magas, Magagas, Ganagas, and Mandagas. Magas correspond to Brahmanas, Magagas to Kshatriyas, Ganagas to Vaishyu, and Mandagas to Shudras. The inhabitants of Shakadvipa worship Surya. Through the observance of vratas and fast, they are blessed by the sun god. Shakadvipa is ringed on all sides by the ocean known as Ksharoda, or the sea of chickened milk. Each Manvantara is an era ruled over by a Manu. There are 14 Manvantaras in any circle of creation, And after all these manvantaras are over, the universe is destroyed. In the present circle of creation, 6 manvantaras have already passed, and this is known as Swayambhuva, Svarachisha, Uttama, Tamasa, Raivata, and Chakshusha. The present manvantara is the one that is known as Vaivasvata. There will be 7 more manvantaras in the future. The manvantaras are described in far greater detail in the other Purans. Most of the Purans deals with the Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and these are family gods to all of us. The Bhavishya Purana is unusual in that it deals with the Surya. You will have got only an inkling of this from that has been given above. No doubt you will wish to learn more about the worship of the Sun God. So is the Surya Tantra, Saura Tantra. Om Shakti Hrim, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Tat Sat, Hari Om.